Sounds good to me. I'd like to bring this meeting to order at 10:03. I'll read the land acknowledgement. The city of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hadawandak, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The city of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands in which we live. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? Councillor Dividitis and Councillor Sentence. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Adoption of the minutes. Can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes from August 28th, 2023? I got Gary and Mark. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay. Correspondence. Are there any items of correspondence from the clerk's department there? Justin and Matthew? None. Committee business. Amend the terms of reference. We are looking to amend the terms of reference to add a representative from Brock University Graduate Students Association. Is there any discussion regarding that? Can I get a mover and a seconder? I got Councillor Sentence and I got Mark. Okay, Mark Lefebvre. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thorold website student landing place. Is Natalie here? Is she online to give this presentation?
Not, Mr. Chair, Natalie's not able to make it today, but I'm happy to walk through it.
Okay, so Jason Simpson, our Director of Development Services, will walk us through this Thorold website student landing page, and I'll turn it over to you, Jason. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the student landing page that we discussed with this committee previously is now live on the City of Thorold website. The intention for this website or this web page is to act as a landing page for all students to go to find information relevant to what they may be interested in discovering. So just maybe if I could ask you to scroll down a little bit. We have links here for being able to connect with the City of Thorold, information on community events, information on fire safety within their rental places, parking information, recreation opportunities within the City of Thorold, information on our residential rental licensing bylaw, transit information, as well as information on recycling and garbage collection. In addition to that, we've got some frequently asked questions that we've provided at the bottom, and we'll review these and update them as time goes on. So this is, as I mentioned, live on our website. And we're happy to receive any feedback that the committee has, whether it be now or moving into the future.
Thank you, Jason. I'll open the floor up for any questions for Jason regarding this website student landing page. Is there any feedback from any members here or anyone online? So, Catherine, go ahead, because I was going to ask you a question, but if you could incorporate into that if you were supplying information for that one bullet point under waste management. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I was just going to ask whether or not the information under that category was just a simple link to our website, or if it was information that was being recreated on that website.
Jason, are you aware of what it is?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. I believe it's just a link to the region's website.
Do you have anything else to add, Catherine?
No, that's fine. We'll take a look at where it's linking, and yeah, appreciate that. Thank you.
Because that's an important one, because we get asked questions a lot from the students regarding that. Go ahead, Mark.
And would that be a problem, Catherine, if it was recreated? Because I think the more touches you get at something, or the more opportunities to see the information that's provided. So they might not be able to, they might not even think of going to you, or they might just not even go to the link and find what they're looking for. But if it's right there, whether they go to the region or they go to the city, it would be very helpful for everybody.
I think it would.
No,
Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead, Catherine, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor. What we could do is maybe have a bit of a hybrid where you have key information on that website, and if they wanted further information, there's a link, but as you say, just get that important information right there when they go to that site. I'm fine with that. And we can, I can have our outreach person work directly with someone at the city.
Yeah, they can work through Natalie, correct, Jason? And I think it would be good if we do something as far as putting something on our social media about the website and what's being offered, so that information is out there.
Thank you. I'll take that away.
Okay. Is there any further questions regarding that? Okay. Winter education. And I'm guessing that this winter education's regarding snow removal and issues around parking. And so who is going to speak to this? Jason, are you going to speak to winter bylaw? I know I'm putting you on the hot
Mr.
seat.
Chair, I believe that will be me, I suppose. So yes, the City of Thorold is going to be starting to send out notifications, information in the media with regards to parking and just what to do during the winter when it snows, also about our snow clearing. So we'll be working between bylaw and Public Works Department. We'll be working with our community relations specialist to get that information out shortly.
Okay. Go ahead, Matthew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is just also an opportunity for members of the committee to provide any feedback before we get too far into the winter maintenance program and the sort of winter weather season. If there's things from last year that can be feedback that we can look at incorporating this year, we can take that away for both bylaw as well as for our public works team, just so that they're aware of it. And same to Natalie if there are any communications issues. So whether that's from any of our members or just general discussion, we're happy to have that now.
Okay. And I think the one point that we really want to reinforce here, Jason, and maybe you can touch on it, is when we get a deemed winter event, cars off the road, and that's the time we allow them to park on the aprons until the snow removal's done. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Certainly, I'd love to. So last year, council amended the parking and traffic bylaw, allowing the city to declare on-street parking bans. So when such a ban is declared, that means that all vehicles must be off of the roads, non-traveling vehicles off of the road, so no parking on the streets, until the parking ban has been lifted. We do allow vehicles to park on the aprons regardless of size for the temporary time that the ban is in place. Last year was the first time we had done this, and we did receive a lot of feedback from the community that we did not get the message out there enough. So this year, we are working again with our community relations specialist to get that message out early. And we're also looking at other opportunities, such as utilizing local radio stations to advertise those events.
Thank you. And the other thing we will be adding that with OPG, about Lake Gibson, Marlet's Pond, and that area because of the fluctuating water levels. So we usually work with them on a communications release as well. So I know because we met with them, and it's an annual thing they do. Okay. TAGC 2, 2023. Can I get a mover and a seconder to adopt the committee's 2024 schedule? Can I get a mover and a seconder? I got Councillor Ditavitas and Councillor Sentence. Now, that schedule, can you just put it up for a sec so that everybody can see it prior to? So this is the meeting schedule. Okay, so we'll be meeting on January 29th, the next meeting, April 29th, August 26th, which is always a real big one because that's prior to the start of the new fall semester, and November 25th. And then we can meet at any time as specially called. So these are the meetings that will be locked in. They can be subject to change too if something comes up. And we can also add meetings. In the meantime, just so everyone's aware, our subcommittee groups like our bylaw, NRP, and Brock University meet on a regular basis, especially around events like, Frosh Week,
Halloween,
Homecoming,
St.
Halloween,
Patrick's.
St. Patty's Day. So there's always ongoing stuff as well going on, okay? Okay, so those are the dates. I had a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, now we're going to move on to roundtable discussion. I'll start in the council chambers and then I'll move to our online guests. They're not guests, members of the committee. So I'll start over here with Mark Lefebvre. Do you have anything for roundtable that you want to raise or questions?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I just wonder if we're in line for, because we have an NRP representative, but they're looking, we have speed cameras in the region. There's lots to talk about them, but is Thorold in line to have a couple of those? There's some pretty busy areas.
I can answer that question because I've been involved at the regional level in making sure that we got, and we're successful in getting Collier Road moved to a community safety zone. So it is eligible for cameras. So there's 4 camera stations that will be rotated to begin with, and then down the road they may purchase, more units. So we are on the list, but we're not the first group. So yes, we will see them at some point. I can't give you a date, but the Collier Road, that program's for regional roads only. Collier Road being a regional road, that particular road is been defined as a community safety zone. It is eligible for cameras, so it will at some point be part of the program. Okay? Councillor Didavides,
No, I'm good.
you're good? The clerk's department, anything from Justin or Matthew? Gary, you're up. Gary Citrigno.
Thank you. I got a couple of things.
Yeah, bring 'em up.
Some of it stemming from, for lack of a better term, the riot we had on the 26th of August. Has there been any charges to the party, the B&B that had initiated the thing? 'Cause
Okay,
I'm
so-
hearing they were selling booze to everybody.
I will ask 2 people. I'll ask Jason if he can comment from our bylaw end, and then I'll turn it over to Virginia, see if there's anything from the NP side. Jason, can you,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I can say that based on the information we were provided and through investigations discovered, it was not a Airbnb. It was a rental property, but not an Airbnb short-term rental. As far as bylaw enforcement did issue penalties, not associated with the physical altercations that occurred, but with regards to other bylaw-related matters. But I also know that the NRPS was investigating the rest of it as well.
okay, so thank you. So from our end, yes, there were some tickets issued, am I correct? Okay, Virginia, can you have anything that you might be able to add or give us an update regarding that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Niagara Regional Police worked with Thorold's bylaw team, providing the relative information that we had obtained from the investigation. So we were able to help Jason and his team get those bylaws issued. The investigation into the allegations of assault on those 3 parties is currently under investigation still, so I can't really speak on that until charges are laid.
Thank you so much. Okay, Gary, so that's the latest regarding that.
Okay.
And you had a second issue you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I got a couple.
Okay.
Does Thorold have, I noticed there's a couple of short-term rentals that are starting to pop up. Do we have, by we, I mean Thorold, do we have stuff that is particularly bylaw to those type of rentals, or?
I can tell you that we're working on something that Jason's working on, but if you want to provide a short update, I know that that's something that will be coming to council, Gary.
Because it could become a problem
Absolutely.
if we're the only ones.
Absolutely.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So, yes, the City of Thorold is working on, so we currently license those types of businesses through the residential rental licensing
Okay, so they-
bylaw. However, council has directed the bylaw staff to review other options particular to short-term rentals. So that is undergoing. I'm currently working with our legal team on it, with hopes of bringing something before council very soon.
Okay. I don't want to take too much time.
No, Garrick, bring your points forward, please.
I saw an article in the paper, it was shortly, so it must have been in September sometime, that more bylaws now subject to city new fining system in St. Catharines. And they're talking about violations under where the city can put charges out faster than, instead of going to court, provincial offenses and stuff like that for noise violations and that kind of thing. Is Thorold doing the same thing, or?
Go ahead, Jason.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, we are. We've been doing that since 2020, I believe.
Okay, so we're already ahead of the curve then?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Boy, I'm getting all my questions answered. Jason, no, I'm not talking to you. One other thing, I just noticed lately that the corner of Winterberry and Richmond Street, and I forget the name of the street now, that whole new subdivision off of Winterberry is now becoming populated. So you're getting more people, you're getting a lot more traffic coming out, and that intersection is becoming extremely busy. And I noticed that, I'm assuming they're Brock students, are using that corner for a lot of picking up buses and
Well,
and
there's a
stuff.
layover there.
Yeah, so everything is right in that intersection. I'm thinking we're gonna need to take a look at a traffic light for safety, for, as much as I don't want it, because I use that
No, but
intersection.
what we will do, and we can make a due note if our engineering group can look at that and do a traffic study because of the increased traffic. There's a process we go through.
Yeah.
We can just highlight it and so that they can have a look at it, Gary.
Because I see a lot of traffic now, more so, coming out of that
Well,
subdivision.
that whole area is getting busier, no
And
question
the
about
kids
it.
are using that, and there's just a crosswalk, and that's it, so. Okay, I'm done, thank you.
Thank you for all, no, those were all good points, Gary. Thank you. Chief Dixon, do you have anything?
No, I have nothing.
Can you give us a report on the fire hall?
It's coming along.
It's coming along, okay.
Hopefully we move in in March.
Jason, do you have anything to add? You've been on the hot seat all morning, so.
Thank you. I think I've said enough. I love it.
He's used to it.
Deputy Chief Mike, do you have anything? No, sir. Okay. Counselor Sentence? I'm good. Counselor Sentence is good. Okay, now I'm going to our people online. Catherine, do you have anything from Waste Management? Maybe you want to touch on the changes coming too, maybe in January, that we don't know all the details of ourselves, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah, I can do that, Mr. Mayor. But first, I just want to give a quick little report. We've been monitoring and keeping track of the number
Yeah.
of issues since I guess the students came back in September to the end of October, so approximately about 8 weeks. In that time in Thorold, we had about 127 issues that we addressed. Of those 127, we took about 440 actions. So that could mean a site visit, a call, an email. So that's about 3.5 actions per issue. Our staff spent about 80% of their time in the area. And we had about 84% compliance within 2 days of visiting the site. So I think that's pretty good. Interesting enough, though, when I look at the information, the highest number of issues in the student area were the first 2 weeks of October. And maybe that correlates to Thanksgiving and people not being in school. I think it's break
Yep.
time around
It was
that time.
reading,
So
right?
that I found
Yeah.
that interesting because I thought it would have been at the beginning of September. So we'll continue to monitor this, and I can provide this data to the clerk if he wants to include it in the minutes as well.
Right.
With respect to the upcoming changes as of January 1st, I'm not sure if everyone knows, but across Ontario, the province is removing the responsibility of the residential Blue Box program from municipalities and handing it over to the private sector. So they'll be responsible for providing blue boxes, replacement or new blue boxes. They'll be taking the call. So the region will have no responsibility financially or operationally for the blue box program for the residential sector only. So we'll be communicating that out. Realistically, what should happen is residents should not see any change. As we understand it, it'll be the same service providers servicing Niagara for the next 2 years. So that's in Thorold, that's GFL.
Oh, that's good.
And the other contractor is Miller for the other areas in Niagara. So there may be some adjustments in times that are being collected, but it'll be the same day, same methodology. So really, the user should not see any changes other than who they call and where they can get a new blue box. We're just waiting to obtain one phone number from GFL, and we'll start pushing out that information hopefully next week. And then our guides will include the information, any information that we send out to students will have that information as well in terms of the phone number and where they can pick up a new blue box.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and if you could, forward that to Matthew,
Yep.
that would be great.
Yep.
And it's good to hear that GFL will still be collecting for the next 2 years. That should give us some level of stability, which is
Yeah.
important.
That's our understanding. We haven't received confirmation, but in other municipalities who've already transitioned out of the Blue Box program, the current provider has maintained the service for the transition years.
Thank you so much, Catherine, appreciate that. Kaylee?
I've got
Kaylee's
no
here from
updates, thank
Busu.
you.
Go ahead. Do you have anything?
No, I don't. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Okay, no problem.
good.
Jen, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. I'm relatively new to this group, so thank you, Mr. Mayor, for including me. Jen Skelding, I'm the Executive Director of Student Life and Success and representing Bradley Clark. And beyond that, no comments at this time. Thank you.
And I seen Brad at the parade on Saturday, and I just want to thank Brock University for their excellent participation in the parade on Saturday. Thank you. Virginia, if you can give us an update from the NRP perspective, or if you have anything to update.
Just on the administrative penalties. So that's what St. Catharines just came out with recently, and Thorold has been doing it since 2020. So great success in the fall working with Jason and his team again. We were able to share that information. We had Brock out there with us as well. So we were able to get that messaging across, and I think it plays like an important part, getting the messaging out to the students that, you know, the owner of the house will be fined, and kind of goes downhill from there. So kids are at risk of losing their deposits and stuff like that. So I think it played a huge part. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. And it's so important that when all our community partners work together, and we seem to, when we do that, that's when we have our major success. So, Kristen.
Yeah, just to the agenda items that are addressing education for students, we'll be monitoring the social media accounts, both of the region and of the city, to share that with students moving forward as well as we enter into the winter months, and anything other issues that are coming up. So we'll be amplifying those messages sent directly from the municipality and from the region on our social media as well. So just wanted to add that, and that I'm grateful for the good communication relationship we have with both the region, the NRP, and the city of Thorold. So thanks so much.
Thanks you so much, Kristen. Carmela.
I don't have anything.
I can't, she didn't have anything to add? Okay, thank you. Okay, that takes care of our roundtable discussion. Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you. I just had a question for Catherine. With regards to the recycling changes in January, is that a service that's just being contracted out to the contractor from the region, or is the region completely letting go of this service? And I guess where I'm going with this is, will it be up to the service provider to determine when collection days are, how often they'll be collected, or is that something that is in a contract with the region?
Go ahead, Catherine.
So, yep, thanks, Mr. Mayor. So basically the region's out. It's not our contract anymore for recycling. So the contract would be between Miller and GFL, the service provider, and Circular Materials Ontario, which is representing the producers or the private sector that produce the packaging that goes into the blue box. The regs and the minister has been very clear that during the transition period, they want it to be a seamless transition. And so there should not be any changes to the collection times. There may be subtle changes. The collection days will not change. It has to mirror and align with the collection of the organics and garbage, which the region will still maintain control and responsibility for. The only thing that really should change for the user of the program is who they call and where they pick up a new or replacement blue box. But to your question specifically, the region has no responsibility for the residential blue box program after January 1st.
So,
Thank you.
So correct me if I'm wrong then, Catherine. So under the regular garbage collection, organics and leaf and yard waste, that will still be the same contact information, same GFL collecting that. If it's related to recycling, blue and gray box, then that will be a different number, right? We'll have to get a hold of and you're saying it's probably going to be GFL, but it will not be through the region. So it'll be
That's correct.
So it'll be a different
They'll no longer
contact.
call the info line for
Yeah,
recycling. They'll call the
exactly.
contractor directly.
So there'll be a learning curve there, but it's good to know if GFL is going to still be involved. That's definitely a plus. So, and then there's some there are some differences as well in what will be allowed to be recycled as well. Am I right, Catherine?
Yeah, it's fairly minor though. It's the hard-covered books and the soft-covered books will no longer be accepted in the blue box, and also your sandwich bags. But we're getting some mixed messaging on that if it's in the box, they're going to take it. So I think, again, that change will be relatively small and not as, it won't impact residents as much as we think it will.
So I think from the region perspective and the city of Thorold perspective, communication between now and January is going to be critical to make sure that everybody's aware of these changes. So.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, as you know, we have a communication strategy drafted. We're just waiting for that one phone number so we can start really pushing out the message.
And thank you, Catherine, for all the work your group's doing. I work closely with Catherine because I chair the Waste Management Steering Committee at the region. So.
I was actually, Mr. Mayor, noticing the 2024 dates of this meeting. There's a conflict with two of our Waste Management Steering Committee meetings, I think April and August, so we'll have to take a look at that.
We'll have a look at it. Yeah, we've made those moves before, like this year when we had to. So we know January's good. So if any changes we'll have to make, we can address them at the January meeting. Okay. So there being no further business, the next meeting will be held on January 29th, 2024. And I adjourn this meeting at 10:32. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate all your cooperation and participation.